Hello, Manal. Hello,
Yes.
Mohammad. Janine. Now we
Hi,
have a very special guest with us today.
yeah, I can
have
see it.
A gentleman
Robert.
called Mr. Robert Makai with us. Now, Robert Makai worked in the fossil fuel industry, but he's an inventor. And he has invented a product which is going to absolutely, potentially, transform our world of energy and the way that we deliver data. So he's sitting in on this meeting, and he's going to be listening to how we all communicate so that he can get to grips with how he and his team of inventors can then come and meet all of you and deliver a training and a talk to all of you, because I would love for all of you to meet some of the world's best leading inventors so that you can start working on science and projects and proving that those inventions work. Okay, now I'm going to ask you some questions before we get going. This is my first poll. And I want to ask you, how well do you understand climate change? A, is it not at all? B, a little? C, quite well? Or D, very well? Joji, have you done the poll?
Oh, yeah.
You must do the poll as well. You can't get out of it.
Yes, done.
Who hasn't done the poll? Have you all done it? Robert, have you done the poll? Wonder if Robert can hear it. Have you done the poll, Robert?
Oh, good evening, sir.
You are still muted, Mr. Makai. Okay. So 67% of you said that you understand climate change very well. And 33% of you said quite well, which is good. That's excellent. Nobody said a little, nobody said not at all. So that is fantastic. Now, my second poll, I'm going to share the results with you. So have a look at that. Very well, 67%. I am super impressed. Okay, so let's close that. And I want to launch another poll. I'm going to ask you a question. Would you be able to define carbon sink? It's A, no clue. B, possibly. C, definitely. All right. Okay. Joji, have you given your answer? Yes? Right. Okay. So 6 of you have voted. And as you can see there, 50% of you said definitely. 50% of you said possibly. Nobody said no clue, which is absolutely fantastic. And this is my third poll. Do you believe that your school, the entire GEMS organization, can benefit by reducing climate? A, yes. B, definitely. C, a little. D, not at all. Ah. So 50% said yes, 50% said definitely. That is fantastic. And my final poll. How motivated are you about reducing climate change? A, not really. B, a little. C, very much. So we had a little, and we had 83% saying very much. That is absolutely fantastic. Right. Now, I wanted to ask you, all of you, what you feel your main project is going to be as the group that are going to be driving through the beginnings of your ambassadors. You are going to be the very first Educate Global Youth Ambassadors in your school. So I would like to ask you what you feel your project is going to be. I'm going to start with is it Manal? Is that how I pronounce your name?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you feel, what is the strategy or the project that you feel you are going to be driving through in your school?
The first thing we can start to do is to become a paperless school.
Fantastic. And you, Mohammad?
Ma'am, I could very well say that we should reduce the use of plastic bottles, as that is very much used in many parts of the world.
Okay. And you, Janine?
We can try to use less paper and less plastic.
Okay. And you, Haroon?
Okay, my way of reducing pollution would be reduce the number of trips you take in your cars, which can be our buses, which if the houses are near our school, they could be taking a walk or riding a cycle, which can be mandatory or their wish. Reducing or eliminating fireplace and wood stove outs. So if we are having near factories, we should be saying to them, we should advise them to use less things as of using fires, and also to use less consuming of electricity.
Okay.
Then about burning leaves, trash and other materials if they are factories, and also about using garden equipments and other powered lawns.
Fantastic. So you all have a project that you're going to be delivering. Now, have you had a look at the Carbon Footprint Buster Challenge yet? Have you been looking at that with them, Joji?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Which challenge have you started? Have you delivered the assembly yet?
Yes, we have started on carbon footprint. The first thing is eating of non-veg we have reduced. Survey we are going to conduct on that. So in a week, how many days they have reduced eating of non-veg, and they are preferably preferring vegetarian food.
Okay.
And then the exercise, and then the walking, jogging, and they are reducing it and counting the steps.
Okay. So did you watch on our portal, did you watch the Carbon Footprint Buster Challenge with Lisa Pugh? Did you watch her instructions?
No, these have not yet watched yet still.
Okay, so this group are going to be the first group of students. You will watch the Carbon Footprint Buster Challenge. You will watch the introduction. You will watch the welcome, and you will watch how to do the assembly. Okay, because you are going to help Jyoti deliver that assembly. You are going to be, well, she calls them stooges. You are going to be in the audience banging an instrument and freaking the rest of the pupils out, because they will never expect you to do that. So you can do it on Zoom, and all of a sudden you start banging. You guys start banging something when you see the code words, and you freak, and everybody in the Zoom goes like, what's going on here? Why is this happening? You can do it in person, and you can do it on your Zoom or your meets, your team meeting. Now, you saw that the first challenge on that Carbon Footprint Buster Challenge is for each pupil to go away and get their parents to change their energy provider to a green energy provider. Okay, you are going to work out a spreadsheet. You're going to give me like a document, and you're going to do a poll with all of the children in your school at the end of the month. Find out which ones changed, to which provider they changed, and which ones didn't. You're not going to, it's going to be anonymous. You're not going to see who's done it, but you're going to feed that information back to me and Lisa Pugh and say, right, Mel, we have achieved so many percentage of families have moved over to a green energy provider. So many families haven't. So we know we've got some work cut out for us yet. And so many have come back and said, wow, we've really learned a whole lot about this exercise. Okay. And then your second challenge at the next month is going to be food for thought, which is what you're already working on. Now, there's a school in Wokingham, and they came up, their student council came up with a very interesting concept. They said that when they are in their canteen eating their lunch, they have houses. You have houses, different house groups. You get house points, Joji.
Yes.
And they wanted a clear bin for each house to see what food waste went into which house's bin. And they wanted monitors, school monitors, house monitors to stand, because they don't want another house to come and put their waste in their bin, yes, to cheat. And then they want to weigh the food waste at the end of every day, and then put it up on a big chart in the canteen to show which house is wasting when they're ordering their food, how much waste every day. You are going to measure that food waste every day. You are going to have a spreadsheet with each house, and the house that has the least food waste will do a presentation on why food waste, how much food waste there is in the world, why we cannot have food waste, the carbon mileage of the food, the footprint of that food, and how many house points that house wins. Okay. And then you get everybody to start thinking about wasting food at home. They need to go back home and start that same process of measuring the food waste at home as well. So these are very big challenges for you. Mohammad, you spoke about plastic. I think that we need to there's a company in Dubai that will come to the school and collect the plastic. It's called D-Grade, Simply Bottle.
Yes.
And this is a project that when COVID is over, we need for Dr. Chris Barber to come and to deliver a training to all of you. There's Dr. Chris Barber, there's Emma Barber, and there is Ella is in their marketing team. And they will come and deliver a training to you on the 6 main types of plastic and how we recycle them. Okay. Carbon calculator. That's right. That's right. We'll be using that. It's all inside inside is all in there, Mr. Makai. It's inside the notes that the teachers have for the Carbon Footprint Buster Challenge. Everything is in there. Okay. So you can even deliver the Carbon Footprint Buster Challenge at home. So what we can do, it's up to you. If you give me a spreadsheet, if you give it to Joji of all the children in your teams, their first name, second name, and school email address, I will onboard them. My team and I will onboard them onto the portal, and you will all be given access to the Carbon Footprint Buster Challenge. And you will look at the documents. You will have a look at all of the content that Lisa Pugh has created for you. And if you feel that there's anything in there that's wrong or that can be better, you tell me. Because you are the first school in the world to be delivering the Carbon Footprint Buster Challenge. You are the first. And then you're going to do a talk for me on the results of that Carbon Footprint Challenge. Now, Haroon, your strategy of transportation is one of the challenges on the Carbon Footprint Buster Challenge. So I need you to go through all of it. Now, you will notice that Lisa Pugh has not added all of the documents on there yet. It's a big process. It takes her 3 weeks to build all the documents for each challenge. She really goes deep. She digs deep. She goes and does research. She finds the best calculators, the best information. Would you like me to share my screen and show you what it looks like?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Right, let
Surely.
me show you all. Okay. So you will all be given access to the learning portal. You will be given a username and a password. And you will go here to Educate Global. And you will go here to the Carbon Footprint Buster Challenge. That's what it looks like. This is included within the bronze and the silver award. It is mandatory. Do you know what the word mandatory means?
Yes.
Important.
It is, if your school does not achieve the Carbon Footprint Buster Challenge, I do not give them their bronze and their silver awards. So you've got to achieve it. There's a welcome video. There's an introduction. There's the launch assembly for you. And this is challenge 1. I want you to watch every one of these. And this is the lady that created the Carbon Footprint Buster Challenge. And my husband and I went to film her. This is her forest. She lives in her own forest. She bought a woodland. She has her own forest in Devon. And one day I would love for your group to come for a week and to go and spend a week with her and her husband with Joji in her forest. She has no flushing toilets. She has compostable toilets. She has no electricity. All of her electricity is solar powered. She lives completely off grid. You are going to love this. And her husband is a specialist in sustainability and permaculture and biodiversity. Every single item in this forest has been developed and designed to cleanse the natural. At night, you've got to be careful. You've got to have lights on your head because the frogs all on the ground. So the forest is alive with biodiversity. Now, can you see here underneath her video, she gives you the challenge. She gives you the poster. She gives you the keyword. She gives you the terminology. She gives you the resources, and she gives you a feedback form, right? It takes her up to 3 weeks to make each one of those. You are going to work through the welcome, the introduction, the assembly. You are going to deliver that assembly with your teacher. You are going to get stooges. I love the idea of stooges. So you're going to have like secret members in the meeting that are suddenly going to bring out a cup and start banging the cup or make some crazy noise, okay? Because what she wants to show you is that it starts with one in the school and then it can spread to everybody because everybody's like looking. You don't have to be afraid to be the first one to stand up. So what you're going to be doing is doing that assembly, and then you are going to deliver challenge 1 to all of your peers. You have 1 month and you are going to follow them each week. You're going to have a weekly check-in to find out how everybody's doing. You're going to have the form to evaluate your success. And then you're going to give me that feedback form to say to me, this is our evidence. You record your meeting so that you have evidence of those meetings. Is that understood? Hi there, Janine, that's your brother sneaking in behind you. Now,
yes, ma'am.
do you have any questions for me? What?
Yeah, they have a set of questions to interview.
All right, let me get my
Yes.
my pen and so that
Yes.
I can write the questions down. Okay, Manal.
Yeah, and they are all set with their slogans. They themselves have prepared a slogan for themselves to be a change in the climate change. They want to bring a change in the climate change. So we are
Okay.
going to start up with the Muhaddis. Yes, Muhaddis.
Thank you very much, Ms. Jyoti. Good evening, ma'am. We green ambassadors from primary feel obliged to interview you today. We would like to interview on your views about the Westminster School Dubai Achievements Silver Award with regards to UN Educate Global Sustainability and Climate Change. May you please kindly introduce yourself?
Hello, everybody. My name is Melanie Harwood, and I am the co-founder of Educate Global. Now, I need to just correct you there, Janine, because when we started with Educate Global about 2.5 years ago, I met the director of Planet from the UN, Mr. Angus Makai, and he told me about a project where children in Switzerland were having a Skype meeting with children in the Ivory Coast. And the children in Switzerland said, oh, we can't ski. There's no snow. This is terrible. But the children in the Ivory Coast said, we have no fish in our rivers and our lakes. We have no trees anymore. We have electricity blackouts. We can't go to school. And this disturbed me because I thought, hang on a minute, that's just one school in Switzerland speaking to one school in the Ivory Coast. We need to get this out much further. And I approached him and said, I have an idea. I want to upskill teachers to be specialist teachers in climate change. And he said, it's not possible. I said, no, I know I can do it. Don't test me. So I pitched an idea, and there was a hardly known website that the UN had created. They'd had it for about 7 years. And I think they'd put through about 2,000 certificates in 7 years. And I took 5 of the UN courses and I repackaged those as the Educate Global Climate Change Teacher course. I launched it on the 22nd of April, 2019, Janine, and nobody came. Nobody wanted it. So I learned how to use Twitter direct messaging. I direct messaged teachers and head teachers, and I hustled. I did not stop bothering them. And I had one head teacher, she said, look, if you don't stop bothering me, I'm going to report you to the police. And I said, just do these courses for me. Just do one. Come on, one. So she said, all right, you promise you'll leave me alone. I said, I promise I will leave you alone if you just do one. And she messaged me that evening and she said, I did all 5 of them. I loved it. And I knew that that was going to be the change. I was still standing. I remember what happened when that message came in. I know where I was. And that course went viral. And I say this with brevity. Do you know what the word brevity means? You need to go and look it up, right? It unfortunately went viral. That course went to hundreds of thousands of teachers around the world. And at the moment, we're sitting on more than 329,000 schools with teachers that did that course. But there was a problem. I failed. I got it wrong, Janine. I thought that we only needed one climate change teacher in every school. And I was totally wrong. Because I noticed that the teachers did the course. They got the certificate of participation. They wanted a full certificate from me. I gave them a badge and a certificate, and I didn't hear from many of them again. And that's not why I created it. So I scratched my head and I said, okay, back to the drawing board. Because when you fail, when something fails, you've got to re-engineer it. You need to come back and say, where did I fail? Why did this not work, right? Where did I go wrong? And I thought about it, I thought, the head teacher has to nominate the sustainability and climate change lead. And that sustainability and climate change lead has to nominate 5 support teachers. And we need to support those teachers through the process. And the feedback that we had was that the teachers asked, how do we teach climate change? So we built a special training for the teachers, an inset training. And then we built the Carbon Footprint Buster Challenge. And we built mini climate readers, and we just kept building content for them. Okay, so that's where we now are. We're on a far better footing because we're not just partners with the United Nations. We are partnered with University California Irvine. We're partnered with Imperial College London University, Manchester University, Nottingham Trent University. And now we are moving through a clear process of Bronze Award, Silver Award, Gold Award, Platinum Award, Emerald Award. So I failed. The first time round I failed. But your school came and did the whole thing with bells and whistles on. Your head teacher was so motivated and such a good, strong leader that she got not just one leadership team through, she got a leadership team for the primary group, a leadership team for secondary, and then Joji, when they went through to the Silver Award, they got a leadership team in every main age range in the school. So they proved to me that that method, that new method, it delivered tangible action. Because I love giving out badges and certificates, don't get me wrong. But I did this to get tangible action. So I wanted teachers and head teachers and leadership teams that could motivate all of the teachers in the school and motivate all of the children to deliver tangible action. So I feel that your school has absolutely nailed it. And I cannot wait for your school to shift up a gear to the Gold Award. That's the next one. That's the big one that we're going to have to work. We're going to have to find a way to get that one going. And when I tell you about that, whoo, you are all going to be amazed what's going to happen next. Okay, next question. Who's next?
Thank you, ma'am. I will now further give it to Manal. She will ask you a set of questions next.
Thank you, Mohammad.
Okay, ma'am. My question for you is, what inspired you to take up the initiative of creating an awareness and involving participants from all over the world to contribute to tackle climate change?
Goodness, Manal, that's a very big question. I know what the answer is. I am a mother. My daughter is 13 years old now. Her name is Hannah Jane. And I can't just be a good parent. We need to remove the way that we think in short term. You know, governments come for very short terms in the West. You have a kingdom, you know, your king, he stays for life, which maybe is a good thing, you know? You have a king who thinks it through, and you have a royal family and they plan things. Here in our democracy in the United Kingdom, they are only here for 4 years, right? So they come in and they go and they have a great idea and then the idea is gone. So we need to stop thinking about being parents and leaders. We need to think about being ancestors. And I want to be a good ancestor. I want to make sure that I work with other ancestors, other individuals, like Joji is going to be an ancestor, because when we are long gone, our ancestors are going to be talking about us and about you. You're going to be ancestors one day. So you know, our family that will live on will say, wow, do you know that Haroon and Janine and Mohammad and Robert and Joji and Manal, they were the most amazing, and you know, they were leaders, they were visionaries, they thought about this problem and they got everybody together to solve the problem. They didn't just wait for 4 years to be up and then they left to go and do something else. So that's why I created Educcate Global. But I was also very lucky in that I have a business partner called Denise Meisner. And when I'm feeling like I've failed or I haven't done so well, then Denise always bolsters me and says, come on, never give up, let's keep going. So that is in a way, and I'm very focused and very driven on what we are doing. And I know that it is us here at the bottom, because we're the ones at the bottom. We're not at the top. We are going to be spreading this out into every school in the world. So my personal mission, Manal, my personal mission is that Educate Global will upskill 100 million teachers in 12 months. We are going to have carbon literacy specialist teachers in every school throughout the world in the next 12 months. But the only way that we can do that is if we all work together. Because one person is on their own. But when you are together, you can achieve absolutely anything. And it spreads, and it spreads, and it spreads. So your school will be a hub school for all the other schools in the United Arab Emirates. That hub school will be the one that will broadcast out to all the others. You are exemplars of excellence. And everybody else, you know, that they call it FOMO, fear of missing out, yeah? As soon as they see that they're missing out on something really good, then they come and they ask you for guidance. And they say, Manal, what are you doing that's so amazing in your school? Why are you doing this and we're not doing it? And then you're going to say, well, your head teacher needs to speak to Vijaya Kumari Satyan and needs to speak to my teacher, Joji Paradi, and they will introduce you. We'll have a meeting. And then our ambassadors, our youth ambassador teams, we will speak to your youth ambassador teams. And that's how we do it. But my motivation was my daughter. Because one day, I want her, when I'm long gone, I want her to say that I was, you know, that I was a good ancestor. That I didn't just stick my head in the sand and walk away from a problem. Okay, so the climate emergency is a big problem that is, it affects every aspect of our lives, every aspect. It's what we eat, it's what we wear, it's what we drive, it's what we do, it's how we sleep, it's where we walk, it's where we drive, it's where we, everything. So we need to start thinking about sustainability and how we're going to transition. Okay, and I'll explain you more about transitioning. What's next? Who's next? That's a great question.
Thank you for your wonderful answer, ma'am. I'm passing on to Haroon now.
Thank you.
Good evening, ma'am. Ma'am, can you please share your experience of working with TWS team?
Oh, TWS, what a team. What a team. Your teachers, your head teacher, your principal, Vijaya Kumari Satyan, very clever lady. Do you know what she did? Very sneaky. You know what she did? She put the teams against each other. She said to the teachers, she said, oh, you know, well, that team over there, they've already done it. You're falling behind. And then the other team, she said, you know, you're falling behind. That team's already done. So everybody was competing against each other. It was like, I'm not going to get beaten, right? Very clever. And then she had house points. Then she was saying, you know, that house there, they got more points than that house there. Look at the youth there. You don't fear of missing out. FOMO. She is the queen of FOMO. And then Haroon, then she chose very wisely. She knew who the leaders in her teaching team were. She knew who was going to put their leadership teams together and manage those teams in each year group. So she knew, she chose well. She chose Joji, and she said, you're going to be my first leader. You are going to drive this through. Whew. And they did it with bells and whistles on. And then the next thing I knew, they were like, right, we've got 5 more. I said, 5 more, I can't cope. I have to do Zooms with all of these teams. No, I can't. It's too much. Okay. So my experience with TWS was that, Haroon, it's about strong leadership. when you have conviction as a leader and you believe in something, you push. You don't, if you fail, you say, you know what, I failed, but I'm going to come at it again from another angle. You never, ever give up. And that is what your principal did. That is what Vijaya Kumari Satyan did. She did not give up. She wouldn't accept no for an answer. Now, where she's going with it, she wanted your school to do the bronze award, and she achieved that. Then she wanted the silver award, and she achieved that. Now the next award is the gold award. It's very hard to do the gold award, and we're going to have to work out a way for your school in January, February to come and be the next school to do the gold award. Okay, so that was a very good question. Leadership, Harib. Leadership, it's a very strong word, and I believe that you can all be strong leaders. If you at first fail, don't accept defeat. Go and look at why you failed. Like when I failed with my first iteration of the course, where I thought, why didn't I achieve tangible action? But Vijaya, she had a strategy. She worked out a strategy in her head, and she said, right, I'm going to nominate the best leaders. I'm going to have Vijaya, Joji. She had her little strategy in place, and she knew that they would go and nominate a good support team each. And she knew that they would be working as teams together to get all the other teams on side. So
Yes, also Ms. Vijay Kumari also used the term called jealousy. So when one team is going further, the other team will be jealous of others and then gets forward again.
Well, we don't like to use the word jealousy, Harry, but
yes, we don't use it.
FOMO.
Competition.
But it's kind of term like that.
This is exactly what she did. She was very clever. She used psychology, not jealousy, psychology. She knew what everybody could achieve, Harib. She knew that if she used that strategy, she knew that she would achieve the bronze and the silver in record time. Okay. Jyoti, what have you got to say about that?
I sat when I got to register for the 5 courses in the month of February. I sat for 2 days, locked myself, went through all the courses, and within 2 days, I had completed all 5 courses so detailed. Like I was not out of the room itself. I was so deeply involved into to finish the courses. Okay. It was a challenge for me, and I accepted the challenge because I was very much interested towards this noble thing, which we need to bring a change into the world.
There you go.
So we are working, we are very striving hard to go ahead further, so that definitely we want to see the world gets changed and everybody can live in peace and happily, and then the fresh atmospheric conditions. That's the main logo for us, main thing we are working for.
Fantastic. So can you see, Harib, it was about the word challenge.
Yes.
Your teacher uses the word challenge. She saw it as a challenge. She thought, you know what? I want to stretch myself. I don't just want to accept, you know, look at my shirt. I can't believe it. I've just seen my shirt. It's such a mess. I needed to change my shirt. Right. Anyway, sorry. She accepted the challenge that your head teacher threw down. Your head teacher threw down the gauntlet and said, I know that you can do this. Do it. Go and do it. No. No. All right. Who's next?
Yes.
Now I'm going to be passing out to Janine, and thank you for your answer.
My pleasure.
In a nutshell, what message would you like to give to the TWS community and importance of fighting climate change?
Janine, it's not so much about fighting climate change. We need to work together. We must stop operating in silos where that one's doing this and we've got eco schools here and the WWF there and the United Nations here and this charity here and Educate Global here. We must all join hands together. The only way we're going to tackle this is to work together. It's community. And if we can learn, knowledge is power, Janine. The reason I created Educate Global, one of the main ideas, is to share knowledge, because for a long time, we haven't known all the facts. You know, the scientists are over there and we're afraid of the scientists and the science, some of us. But you know that, like Greta Thunberg, she says, the science is there. Go and read the science. Go and read the IPCC reports. And I think that if we are going to tackle climate change and the climate emergency, Janine, we are going to join together. And we cannot do it on our own. That's why you and your group are leading in your school, for your primary school. And that's why you have your leadership teams. And then the more that you learn, the more that you go home and you teach others. So a school teacher doesn't just teach in the classroom, teach a child. A school teacher indirectly teaches the whole community, the whole family. They teach you, then you go home and you teach mom and dad and granny and granddad and cousin and friend and neighbor and neighbor and neighbor and somebody down the road and someone in the shop and someone, you know, everywhere. So this is how we are going to do it. Does that answer your question? I don't mind if you want to ask me the question again. And if you're not happy with my answer, I'll answer again.
That answered my question.
You okay with that, Janine?
Yes.
Good. Who's next?
Thank you.
My pleasure, Janine.
Yes, Manal.
Yes, ma'am. Now I would like to share a pledge.
Go for it.
On the behalf of the student community, I pledge that my dedication to the planet, to do my utmost to live in ways that are in balance with the Earth's natural systems. Thank you.
Manal, you are welcome. I think you are all absolutely incredible. And I'm so very pleased that you've taken the time out to meet with me today. And I'm so very pleased that Mr. Makai could take some of his time out today to join us so that he could also get to meet all of you and to listen to your questions. Now, will you allow me to use this meeting that we've had today? May I add it to our Sustainable Schools Virtual Summit?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Totally, ma'am.
And then what we'll do is once I've built a page for it, I'm going to send you a link. May I send you a link to complete for me, please? Let me copy it and put it in the chat. I'm going to add a chat for you, an item in here. Please, can you complete that link for me? I need a head and shoulders photograph. I tell you what we'll do. We'll take a photograph of all of us. So smile, say cheese. Come on, Janine.
Janine, smile.
Good. I got a screenshot and we will take a photograph. We'll put that on, but you must please each send me a head and shoulders photograph of yourselves. And then what I need is maybe your logo, you know, your school's logo or your team's logo, what you're going to use as your logo. And I need a little paragraph, a little biography about how your team came about. And then I need you to give me a summary in just 2 sentences, what the most important points were in our talk today. And then I will build a page for that. And I will send the link to that page to your teacher. And then she will give it to you. And you can share it around the world with everybody so that they can listen to the questions and the answers. Is that a deal?
Yes.
Now, I'm going to be coming to Dubai in January, I'm hoping.
Oh,
and I would love to come and meet all of you. And the other thing that I would love for you to do is if we can start working towards, because I know that your school is going to do the Gold Award. I'm going to put lots of pressure on them. And I would love for each of you to do at least one of the United Nations courses that your teachers did for me. Now, if you go onto our Educate Global portal, let me share my screen with you again. Let's move you here. You can choose any one of these courses that are here. See, we've got Children and Climate Change, Human Health and Climate Change, Gender and Environment, Cities and Climate Change, Sustainable Food Technology, Climate Change International Regime is very difficult. Climate Change Learning to Action is very difficult. So I would love for you to do the Introduction to Climate Change and maybe also do Children and Climate Change. And if you can do that for me and then get me the certificate of participation, then I will make sure that you are each given an Educate Global certificate to state that you are Educate Global Youth Ambassadors for Climate Change Learning. Is that a deal? We've got a deal.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
You don't have to do it in a rush, not like Miss Joji where she locked herself in a room for 2 days. Okay. All right. No, don't follow that. That's pressure. Okay.
No.
So
I don't want to miss the flow, so I was on the floor to go. So go. That's why. Yes, you can take your time and do it.
you can take your time, and then the next time we meet each other, you can say to me, Mel, I've done that, and I will give a form to Joji for you to send me your evidence, and then I will get that verified with the UN, and I will give each of you a certificate, and you will get a badge and a certificate, and you can use your badges on your emails, on your social media, on your personal media, on your newsletters.
They can see, ask them, they know that when they'll receive my mail, they had seen the logo over there. Did you receive?
You're going to have one of those special badges.
Yes.
Youth ambassadors, Educate Global Youth Ambassadors.
Yes.
Have you seen it, Mohammad?
Yes, when you're sending the mail, I see in the clip, you clip it.
Yes, exactly.
Now, Haroon,
it's there on the signature, down signature.
Now, what
yes, about that you put.
I'm going to, when I come in January, when I come over, I'm going to come and deliver a training to all of you called Get Media Savvy. And it's part of the Gold Award. And I'm going to teach you all how to write press releases and how to build your very own online newspaper, your very own media center, how to have do your own radio broadcasts, your own TV news broadcasts. And every month, I'm going to expect each of you to run this. You are going to run the online newspaper for the school, the Educate Global TWS newspaper. And you are going to do a minimum of 2 press releases, 2 articles a month. And I'm going to show you with a special bit of software that I have. I'm going to show you how we get that article in front of up to 80,000 journalists each month. And then that will go into other newspapers around the world. Okay, because I want the world to see what you are doing so that everybody else starts seeing, because you are a hub, you are an Educate Global hub of excellence. And you need to model excellence so that all the other schools in the United Arab Emirates and in the Middle East will come to your school and say, how are you doing this? What are these children? How did you learn how to do this? Is that a deal, Mohammad? Harib?
Yes, ma'am, that's a deal.
All right. Janine, Manal, Mohammad?
Yes.
Harib? You are all amazing. Have you got any more questions for me before we go?
No.
No more questions?
No, ma'am, that was all.
You can think now, one thing before we go. We're not going to be too hung up on plastic. We're going to be hung up on everything. Okay? And I was thinking this morning, you read my mind. I was thinking we need a GCSE in plastic. I'm going to ask Dr. Chris Barber to create a GCSE in plastic and plastic transition, a transition away from plastic. You are going to become the transition engineers of the future. Okay. Now, Mr. Makai has introduced me to an incredible professor called Susan Crumdick, and her talk is in the Sustainable Schools Virtual Summit, and you will get a link to her talk. And she's created a course which is going to become a GCSE course called Transition Engineering. And I would love for each of you one day, when you are slightly older, to do that Transition Engineering GCSE. Okay, because that you will then go on to do a degree in that. And every government, every company, every industry, even individuals are going to employ transition engineers. They are going to be the most highly sought after specialists in the world. And they are going to go and advise businesses and individuals and governments and countries and regions and kingdoms on how to transition away from certain products and programs and methods that we're using now, so that we can pivot our planet to become more sustainable. Everything that we do. So remind me, folks, Dr. Chris Barber, yes, I need to get on to Dr. Chris, and he needs to do a talk and come and do some training with all of you on plastics and the science of plastics and how to recycle plastics and how we become plastics transition specialists. Okay. Have an amazing, amazing rest of your day and have a wonderful week. Thank you very, very much for your time.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
The link which I sent in the chat. So for that we should register for
Yes,
that.
I'll let you know, Haroon. Yes.
All right. I will send that link to your teacher as well, and she will help you complete that. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
You're all magical. I'm sending you all big hugs and blue skies from a very grey United Kingdom.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Robert,
Bye-bye,
sir.
everybody.
Joining us.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Everybody, I'll see you all on the other side.
Thank you for your time, ma'am.
You're
Have
all
a
in
great day ahead.
January. Bye-bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye.
Bye.